Muktaka trayam. We begin with the prayer followed by the chanting of Muktaka trayam.
Dakshinamurti Sarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Ramanacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Vande Guru Paramparam Vande Guru Paramparam Shuklam Bharadaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Angikam Bhuvanam Yasya Vachikam Sarvavangmayam Aharyam Chandrataradi Tam Namasatvikam Shivam Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya. Namo Ramana to everyone.
Ekamaksharam Hridi Nirantaram Bhasate Swayam Likhyate Katham Hridaya Kuhara Madhye Kevalam Brahma Matram Hyahamaham Sakshat Atmarupena Bhati Hridi Vishamanasa Swam Chinvata Majjatava Pavana Chalana Rodha Atmanishto Bhavatvam Deham Mrinmaya Vajjadatmakam Aham Buddhirna Tasyastyato Naham Tattadabhavasukti Samaye Siddhatma Sadbhavataha Koham Bhavayutah Kuto Varadhiya Drishtvatmanishtatmana Soham Spurtitaya Arunachala Shivaha Purno Vibhati Swayam Soham Spurtitaya Arunachala Shivaha Purno Vibhati Swayam. Ramana. We will now have the chanting of Upadesa Saram by Uma Sreepathy.
Namo Ramana. कर्तुराज्ञया प्राप्यते फलं कर्म किं परं कर्म तज्जडं कृतिमहोदधौ पतनकारणं फलमशाश्वतं गतिनिरोधकम् ईश्वरार्पितं नेच्छया कृतं चित्तशोधकं मुक्तिसाधकं कायवाग्मना कार्यमुत्तमं पूजनं जपश्चिन्तनं क्रमात् जगत ईषधी युक्तसेवनम् अष्टमूर्तिबृहद्देवपूजनम् उत्तमस्तवादुच्चमन्दत चित्तजं जप ध्यानमुत्तमम् आद्यधारया स्रोतसा समम् सरलचिन्तनं विरलतः परम् भेदभावनात् सोऽहमित्यसौ भावनाभिदा पावनीमता भावशून्य सद्भावसुस्थिति भावना बलात् भक्तिरुत्तमा हृत्स्थले मना स्वस्थता क्रिया भक्तियोगबोधाश्च निश्चितम्। नमो रमण।
Namo Ramana. We will now have 3 songs from Ramananjali Sangeetam. The first one will be presented by Srimati Dr. Pratibha Sundaresh. The second song will be presented by Savitri Krishnan and Jaisriram Krishnan. The third song will be presented by Revathi Sankar.
Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. This is a Kannada composition of Dr. A.S. Venugopal Rao. Om Namo Bhagavate Karunya Sagara. Om Namo Bhagavate Sujnana Mandara. Om Namo Bhagavate Karunya Sagara. Om Namo Bhagavate Sujnana Mandara. ಇರುಳೆಲ್ಲ ಬೆಳಗುವ ರವಿ ನೀನು ರಮಣ. ಇರುಳೆಲ್ಲ ಬೆಳಗುವ ರವಿ ನೀನು ರಮಣ. ಹಗಲಲ್ಲೂ ನಗು ನಗುವ ಶಶಿ 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 ನೀನು ರಮಣ. ಓಂ ನಮೋ ಭಗವತೆ ಕಾರುಣ್ಯ ಸಾಗರ. ಓಂ ನಮೋ ಭಗವತೆ ಸುಜ್ಞಾನ ಮಂದಾರ. ಓಂ ನಮೋ ಭಗವತೆ ಕಾರುಣ್ಯ ಸಾಗರ. ಓಂ ನಮೋ ಭಗವತೆ ಸುಜ್ಞಾನ ಮಂದಾರ. ಭಯದೂರ ಭವದೂರ ಗುರುದೇವ ರಮಣ. ಭಯದೂರ ಭವದೂರ ಗುರುದೇವ ರಮಣ. ಜಯದೇವ ಶಿವರೂಪ ನಿಜ ದೇವ 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 ರಮಣ. ಓಂ ನಮೋ ಭಗವತೆ ಕಾರುಣ್ಯ ಸಾಗರ. ಓಂ ನಮೋ ಭಗವತೆ ಸುಜ್ಞಾನ ಮಂದಾರ. ಓಂ ನಮೋ ಭಗವತೆ ಕಾರುಣ್ಯ ಸಾಗರ. ಓಂ ನಮೋ ಭಗವತೆ ಸುಜ್ಞಾನ ಮಂದಾರ. ಅಭಯ ಪ್ರದಾತ ಅರುಣಾದ್ರಿವಾಸ ಆನಂದ ನಿಲಯ ಗುರುದೇವ ರಮಣ. ಅಭಯ ಪ್ರದಾತ ಅರುಣಾದ್ರಿವಾಸ ಆನಂದ ನಿಲಯ ಗುರುದೇವ ರಮಣ. ಆನಂದ ನಿಲಯ ಗುರುದೇವ ರಮಣ. ಆನಂದ ನಿಲಯ ಗುರುದೇವ ರಮಣ. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramana.
ಕರೆವ ಒಂದು ದಿನ ರಮಣ ಗುರು ನನ್ನನು ತನ್ನೆದೆ ಗುಹೆಗೆ. ಕರೆವ ಒಂದು ದಿನ ರಮಣ ಗುರು ನನ್ನನು ತನ್ನೆದೆ ಗುಹೆಗೆ. ನೋಡಿಯು ವರ್ಣಿಸಲಾಗದ ಸುಂದರ ದರ್ಶನ ದೊರೆಯುವ ತಾಣಕ್ಕೆ. ಕರೆವ ಒಂದು ದಿನ ರಮಣ ಗುರು ನನ್ನನು ತನ್ನೆದೆ ಗುಹೆಗೆ. ಹಸಿವು ದಾಹಗಳೇ ಇಲ್ಲದ ಸ್ವಾರ್ಥ ದ್ವೇಷ ತಮಸಲ್ಲದ. ಹಸಿವು ದಾಹಗಳೇ ಇಲ್ಲದ ಸ್ವಾರ್ಥ ದ್ವೇಷ ತಮಸಲ್ಲದ. ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿಯೂ ಶ್ರೀರಮಣನ ಮೌನದ. ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿಯೂ ಶ್ರೀರಮಣನ ಮೌನದ. ಕೊಡಲು ನುಡಿವ ಕೇವಲ ಪದಕ್ಕೆ. ಕೊಡಲು ನುಡಿವ ಕೇವಲ ಪದಕ್ಕೆ. ಕರೆವ ಒಂದು ದಿನ ರಮಣ ಗುರು ನನ್ನನು ತನ್ನೆಗೆ ಗುಹೆಗೆ. ನಿತ್ಯ ಕನಸು ಎಚ್ಚರ ಇರದ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಸೂರ್ಯ ಹೊಳೆಯುವ ಕಡೆಗೆ. ನಿತ್ಯ ಕನಸು ಎಚ್ಚರ ಇರದ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಸೂರ್ಯ ಹೊಳೆಯುವ ಕಡೆಗೆ. ಮೈ ಮನವಿಲ್ಲದ ಅನಂತ ಭಾಗ್ಯದ. ಮೈ ಮನವಿಲ್ಲ ಅನಂತ ಭಾಗ್ಯದ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಜೊತೆ ಬಾಳಲಿಕೆ. ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಜೊತೆ ಬಾಳಲಿಕೆ. ಕರೆವ ಒಂದು ದಿನ ರಮಣ ಗುರು ನನ್ನನು ತನ್ನೆದೆ ಗುಹೆಗೆ. ಹೋದವರಾರು ಹಿಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಬಾರದ ಊರಿನ ಸುವರ್ಣ ಭವನದಲ್ಲಿ. ಹೋದವರಾರು ಹಿಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಬಾರದ ಊರಿನ ಸುವರ್ಣ ಭವನದಲ್ಲಿ. ಜ್ಞಾನರೂಪಿ ಶ್ರೀ ರಮಣನ ಸಭೆಯಲ್ಲಿ. ಜ್ಞಾನರೂಪಿ ಶ್ರೀ ರಮಣನ ಸಭೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪತಿಯ ಜೊತೆಗಿರಲು ಸುಖದಲ್ಲಿ. ಪತಿಯ ಜೊತೆಗಿರಲು ಸುಖದಲ್ಲಿ. ಕರೆವ ಒಂದು ದಿನ ರಮಣ ಗುರು ನನ್ನನು ತನ್ನೆದೆ ಗುಹೆಗೆ. ಕರೆವ ಒಂದು ದಿನ ರಮಣ ಗುರು ನನ್ನನು ತನ್ನೆದೆ ಗುಹೆಗೆ. ನೋಡಿಯು ವರ್ಣಿಸಲಾಗದ ಸುಂದರ ದರ್ಶನ ದೊರೆಯುವ ತಾಣಕ್ಕೆ. ನೋಡಿಯು ವರ್ಣಿಸಲಾಗದ ಸುಂದರ ದರ್ಶನ ದೊರೆಯುವ ತಾಣಕ್ಕೆ. ಕರೆವ ಒಂದು ದಿನ ರಮಣ ಗುರು ನನ್ನನು ತನ್ನೆದೆ ಗುಹೆಗೆ. ನನ್ನನು ತನ್ನೆದೆ ಗುಹೆಗೆ. ನನ್ನನು ತನ್ನೆದೆ ಗುಹೆಗೆ. ಓಂ ನಮೋ ಭಗವತೆ ಶ್ರೀ ರಮಣಾಯ.
Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Bhagavan's name is the sweetest of all. We see that anytime we are in difficulty, we just say that name, remember that name. That is it. Our attention shifts to that, the sweet one, the sweet name, and we are peaceful at that very moment itself. And he is none other than the manifestation of the hill as the human form. The hill which we can't worship takes the form of the Sadguru and comes into our lives. But Bhagavan says that hill, Aruna hill, is shining within each one of us as the light, as the self, as the I. Let us hold on to that, and then we will realize that we are not this limited form, limited name, the limited identities which we have. So many thoughts which we hold on to are not us. The real I is that which is shining always within us. What do we do when we are having the company of Bhagavan? How do we get to the self when we have that company of Bhagavan? We go Giri Pradakshina. Bhagavan has taught us the method of going around the hill. And what does that do? That is the sadhana which takes us within. When we go around the hill, the self is realized by realizing that that hill is within us. When the hill is within us and we go around it, where is this limited form? Where is this limited name? There is no limitations at all. And when we sing his name, that gives us the strength from within. Because when we hold on to this limited mind, it pushes us into various difficulties. It pushes us to the most difficult part where we cannot hold on to the self because it pushes us outside. It doesn't want to lose itself. If we know the self, the mind is lost. So the mind is afraid and we hold on to the mind. That is why we fall into difficulty. And Bhagavan's life is so beautiful that how many ever times you listen to it, how many ever times you read it, how many ever times you remember his life, we see that the devotion towards the Lord is increased. Every time we remember his life, the way he went to Arunachala, the way he read the Periya Puranam, the way he hugged the linga and said, Father, I have come. What more devotion is required? Even if 1% of it is followed by us, that takes us a long way in life. And look at the beautiful form which he has taken, the golden hued Ramana. When we think of his form, that path to the liberation reveals itself. It opens up without any obstacle, without any distraction, without any difficulty. It just opens up. His form is such a one which takes us within. He has given us so many works to many of us whoever can't hold on to the self immediately. It's okay. Sing my name, enjoy my form, look at my form. And he has given us Ramana Gita, which solves all our questions, which takes away all our doubts. And his Pada, Shiva Prakasham Pillai has written Ramana Padamalai. Every verse of it is so beautiful. Even if we hold on to one, even if we meditate, do manana on one verse, it is so beautiful. Ramana Pada Pancharatnam is what we sing on every April 14th. Just listening to that Pada Pancharatnam is so wonderful. And if we hold on to that feet, the Ramana Pada, It takes away all our diseases, including the first disease, that is this body. It makes us realize that I am not this body. And Ramana, 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 when we keep on singing this name, we hold on to that truth. Ramana is the truth. Ramana is the sweet one. Let us all remember his life, teaching, name, form all the time, so that all the bondage which we are stuck in will be released, and we will also attain that state which Ramana is in. Forgetting saying we attain that state. There is no state, there is no attainment, there is no we, there is no I, there is nothing other than Ramana. I present to you a song written by Y.V. Venkateshwar Rao, Kannada translation by R.N. Jayagopal, music by Vijay Bhaskar. रमण मधुर नामा अरुण कांति दीपा रमण निंत आश्रमा परम पुण्य क्षेत्र रमण मधुर नामा अरुण कांति दीपा रमण निंत आश्रमा परम पुण्य क्षेत्र रमण मधुर नामा अरुण कांति दीपा अरुणगिरि प्रदक्षिणा आत्मकान्ति साधना अरुणगिरि प्रदक्षिणा आत्मकान्ति साधना रमण नाम कीर्तना मनोबल विवर्धना रमण नाम कीर्तना मनोबल विवर्धना रमण मधुर नामा अरुण कांति दीपा रमण कथा श्रवणा भक्त हृदय स्पंदना रमण कथा श्रवणा भक्त हृदय स्पंदना रमण रूप ध्याना मुक्ति मार्गदर्शना रमण रूप ध्याना मुक्ति मार्गदर्शना रमण मधुर नामा अरुण कांति दीपा रमण गीत पठना धर्मद अनुष्ठाना रमण गीत पठना धर्मद अनुष्ठाना रमण पाद स्पर्शना सर्वव्याधि निवारणा रमण पाद स्पर्शना सर्वव्याधि निवारणा रमण मधुर नामा अरुण कांति दीपा प्रचोदना रमण नाम गायना सत्यमार्ग प्रचोदना रमण चरित चिंतना नाश भवद बंधना रमण चरित चिंतना नाश भवद बंधना रमण मधुर नामा अरुण कांति दीपा रमण निंत आश्रमा परम पुण्य क्षेत्र रमण मधुर नामा अरुण कांति दीपा. Namo Ramana. We will now have a session of self-enquiry by Shri Dileep Simha. This will be led by Shri Dileep Simha.
Namo Ramana. ध्ययेत् शारदचन्द्रसुन्दरमुखम् ताम्रारविन्देक्षणम् भक्ताभीष्टवराभयप्रदकरम् कौपीनमात्रोज्ज्वलम् स्वात्मानन्दरसानुभूतिविवशम् सर्वानवद्याङ्गकम् श्रीमन्तं श्रीरमणेश्वरं गुरुवरं योगासनाध्यासितम् ध्यायेत् श्रीरमणेश्वरम् ध्यायेत् श्रीरमणेश्वरम् ध्यायेत् श्रीरमणेश्वरम् हृदयकुहरमध्ये केवलं ब्रह्ममात्रम् यहमहमिति साक्षातात्मरूपेण भाति हृदि विषमनसा स्वं चिन्वतामच्युतव पवनचलनरोधा आत्मनिष्ठो भवत्वम्. Namo Ramana. We will commence the evening Atma Vicharam by listening and meditating on Bhagavan's Upadesham. I'll be reading his Upadesham from the book Guruvachaka Kovai, from the chapter Meditation on the Truth. The topic is Meditation and Enquiry, verse number 738. Meditation is only the mental imagination of conceiving oneself to be the supreme reality that shines as Sat Chit Ananda. Meditation is only the mental imagination of conceiving oneself to be the supreme reality that shines as Sat Chit Ananda. Enquiry is to establish the mind in the self such that the seed of false delusion, the mind, perishes. I repeat the verse. Meditation is only the mental imagination of conceiving oneself to be the supreme reality that shines as Sat Chit Ananda. Enquiry is to establish the mind in the self such that the seed of false delusion, the mind, perishes. In meditation, we keep something as an object. In here, Bhagavan is saying, the object is that one thinks one is Satchidananda. So there is the thinker, the thought, and the belief of, and the objective of one being the Satchidananda. Whereas enquiry, since it questions to whom is this, who am I, takes us to that Satchidananda, which is available, which alone is here and now. And therefore, the mind, though the mind is used to question to whom is this, who am I, then the mind, in the process of enquiry, the mind is absorbed in that one truth which alone is. Therefore, enquiry ends up creating manonasha, says Bhagavan. The mind will perish, he says. Whereas in meditation, the individuality is still held on to, and one goes on holding a thought, holding a concept called that, believing that one is actually the Sat-Chit Ananda. So in Prahalada, talking about it, this thing, he says that everything is you, Sri Hari. This body, this world, this mind, this intellect, this ego, everything is you. Having seen it very clearly, that everything is you, the whole thing ended. Next, even the idea that everything is you perished, and you and the mind subsided in you. So that is the ultimate, that is the path of enquiry. When we see that everything is nothing but that pure existence, consciousness, bliss. In the consciousness, it is experiencing itself. But when it imagines itself to be something other, apart, it is so powerful that its imagination is so powerful, though it is experiencing itself, the sense of difference makes the consciousness to feel as though it is the seer, seen, and the process of seeing, all three are different. It is only by enquiring who is the one who is the real seer, by constantly turning the attention not from the triputi of the seer, seen, and the seeing, but who is the one who really is the seer. By inquiring this, we see that pure consciousness as it is, and in it all duality is absorbed, and the truth alone shines, the self alone shines. Therefore, enquiry is a more straight path to the self, whereas meditation, because it keeps the subject intact and keeps an object of meditation, therefore it still keeps the duality intact, says Bhagavan through this verse. So therefore Bhagavan, in his abundant grace, has given us Atma Vichara. Therefore in Atma Vichara, no matter how many thoughts come, no matter what is the nature of those thoughts, whether it is good, bad, ugly, spiritual, we know that it is all an object. When we inquire to whom is this, the answer will obviously come, it is for me, I. The I is also an object, a thought. Further, one continues to inquire, who am I? That means one tries to find, what do I really refer to as I? What is the source of this I thought? In doing so, the mind, the Triputi, everything is absorbed in that one reality which alone is. So with Bhagavan's abundant grace, with which alone we have come to this most direct path, for the next 10 minutes, let us practice Atma Vichar. Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya. Namo Ramana.
Namo Ramana. We will now have the sharing of Anabodham by Sri Venkatesh Deshpande ji.
Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviram Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Dhyanamulam Gurur Murti, Pujamulam Gurur Padam, Mantramulam Vakyam, Mokshamulam Gurur Kripaha, Mokshamulam Gurur. Namo Ramana. We're doing Manana on Atma Bodha, and last satsang we did Manana on verse 44. We'll do a quick recap. Atma is indeed an ever-present reality, yet because of ignorance, it is not realized. When ignorance is destroyed, it soon it seems to be gained like an ornament on one's neck. The Atman is your nature. It is the permanent core of your personality, but your vasanas prevent you from realizing its presence. When the vasanas are removed, the Atman is realized. In fact, the Atman is never lost and can never be gained by human efforts. You only temporarily lose your identity with the Atman and regain it by intuitive awakening. It is like a dreamer recognizing his original status of the waker. When a dreamer wakes up to his waking state of consciousness, he cannot claim to have gained anything which he did not earlier possess. He only lost his identity with the waking world of consciousness, which he regains on waking up from the dreams. The simile of the missing ornament explains this idea. A woman wearing an ornament around her neck imagines that she has lost it and looks for it elsewhere. It has always been in her possession, which she has just discovered. Similarly, the Atman is ever with you. It is a state of supreme bliss. Yet in your delusion you seek material pleasures and mental satisfaction in the external world. When the delusion is removed by the destruction of ignorance, you discover yourself to be the Atman. So let's do Manana on verse number 45. Request Sapna to kindly chant the verse for us.
Namo Ramana. स्थाणौ पुरुषवत् भ्रान्त्या कृता ब्रह्मणि जीवता जीवस्य तात्विके रूपे तस्मिन् दृष्टे निवर्तते स्थाणौ पुरुषवत् भ्रान्त्या कृता ब्रह्मणि जीवता जीवस्य तात्विके रूपे तस्मिन् दृष्टे निवर्तते. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sapna. An individuality is superimposed on Brahman on account of delusion, as the form of man is superimposed on a post. The individuality disappears when its real nature is realized. I'll read that again. An individuality is superimposed on Brahman on account of delusion, as the form of man is superimposed on a post. The individuality disappears when its real nature is realized. The example given here is that of an apparition of a man projected on a post. As long as the post is apprehended as a post, no illusory misconception can arise out of it. The post cannot per se cause false projection upon itself. An illusory projection arises only when the post is not apprehended. Therefore, the root cause of all misapprehension, whether it is in the form of a man or a ghost or other apprehension, is apparition, is non-apprehension of the real nature of the post. Similarly, the all-pervading, omnipotent, omniscient, eternal Brahman, because of delusion, appears to be a limited individual, the perceiver, feeler, thinker, functioning through the equipments of the body, mind, and intellect, and experiencing the objects, emotions, and thoughts of the world. Just as the post is not the cause for illusion of the ghost, Brahman is not the cause for existence of man and his world. So long as Brahman is experienced, there can be no plurality in the form of an individual jiva and the world. But when Brahman is not apprehended, the non-apprehension of Brahman creates the misapprehensions of the individual perceiver feeler. This is a very important sentence. But when the Brahman is not apprehended, and you really do not know the truth, the non-apprehension of the Brahman creates the misapprehensions of the individual perceiver, feeler, thinker, and his world of dream and waking states. The non-apprehension of the reality itself is the causal body. The causal body consists of the vasanas existing in the state of deep sleep. As the name suggests, the causal body gives rise to the subtle and gross bodies and their respective worlds of dream and waking states. When the Brahman is experienced, the apprehension of reality destroys the causal body and along with it the pluralistic phenomena of man and the world. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Namo Ramana.
Namo Ramana. We will now have the sharing of Ramanacentre by Sri Ujwal Jagadeesh.
Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. In this part of the satsang, we are meditating on the verses of Ramanacentre written by Vasishta Kavya Kanta Ganapati Muni, who got the first spoken Upadesha from Bhagavan, and he was the one who gave the sweet name Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi. And all that happened in this very month of November. And he was born also in this auspicious month of November. And here we are meditating on the 37th verse, where he sees all the divine mothers, the Jagan Mata in Ramana. Ramanam Gurum Namami, Ramanam Gurum Namami, Ramanam Gurum Namami, Ramanam Gurum Namami, Devi Shaktiriyam Drisho Shritajana Dvantakshayadayini Devim Shririyam Ambujakshamahishi Vaktre Sahasrachade Devi Brahmavaduriyam Vijayate Vyahara Gudapara Vishwacharya Mahanubhavaramana Tvam Sautuka Prakritaha Ramanam Gurum Namami, Ramanam Gurum Namami, Devi Shakti Nina Notadali Nelesi Ahankaravana Shipalu, Devi Shri Ambujakshana Ramani Sahasrabhinaya Kadalikambalu, Devi Vani Brahmanarani Ninna Nadateya Sogasinali Chimvalu, Vishwacharya Mahanubhavaramana Manava Ninentu Stutipanu Ramana Guruvige Namisuve Ramana Guruvige Namisuve Ramana Guruvige Namisuve Ramana Guruvige Namisuve. This verse has been composed in a raga called Nada Nama Kriya by Srimati Sulochana Natarajan. It is the nada of the nama, and to this raga is very, very apt to sing the nama and to rejoice in that nada of the Supreme. And what is the most dearest nama to all the devotees or all the people when they are in difficulty or when they are in pain? The first nama which comes is Amma, Mother. So this Nada Nama Kriya Raga is very aptly chosen by Bhagavan for these verses where he is described as Mother. Ganapati Muni says, "O Mother Shakti, Mother Durga Devi resides in your glance, and just by your glance, the Ajnana Andhakara, the darkness of ignorance, is completely destroyed. And in your beautiful face, There are hundreds of Lakshmis who are blossoming. Lakshmi, who is the consort of the Ambujaksha, the one with the lotus-eyed Mahavishnu. And in every speech of yours, in every activity of yours, we see that Saraswati Devi is shining. O Vishwacharya Mahanubhava Ramana, you are the Jagan Mata, and your love is inexplicable. We can't explain your love. We can't even measure, or we can't even give a price to our own mother who has bore us and given birth to us. Because the pain that they would have undergone to give birth to us, and so much of turmoil, so much of sacrifices that they would have done when bringing up a child, it cannot be measured, it cannot be valued, it is priceless. It cannot be quantified or qualified. Such is the love of one's own mother who has given us birth. But Ramana is the supreme mother. He is much more kinder than one's own mother. How can we ever describe his glory, says Ganapati Muni. We have been meditating on how Ramana's glance, the Nayana Diksha which he learned with Madurai Meenakshi Amman, he, with his glance, he was disseminating that power of glance, destroying the afflictions, destroying the ignorance of all the devotees. And he himself is Shri. He is the most important treasure, most valuable treasure, who is shining within every one of us as the self. But we are like that 10 foolish men who once had to cross the river, and once they crossed the river, they wanted to check whether all of them have reached safely or not. So each one of them started counting, but each one of them found there were only 9 people. So they were very, very sad that they had lost one dear friend, but they don't even know who is that friend that they have lost. But they were all crying and worried, and they were searching here and there and trying to rescue him from the river. A wise stranger was passing by, and he asked, "What's the problem?" And they told what was the problem, and he counted and he saw there were already 10. So to make them realize, he told them to stretch their hands and gave one beating with a cane. And when the counting was done, it was 10. The 10th man was found. Who was the 10th man? Every one of them, while counting, they forgot to count themselves. So Ramana has come to reveal that there is this valuable Shri which is ever available. But we are not turning towards that sea. We are always turning outside for solution. We are thinking that the happiness lies in possessing many things in the world. There is an instance where T.K. Sundaresh Iyer used to visit Ramana during the Virupaksha days and later in the Skandashram days also. He used to take some sugar candies, the Kalkande or Kalsakre as we call, as offering every day to Ramana. So once it happened that he could not get the Kalkande or the sugar candy. So he was very, very disappointed. So he went with empty hands to Bhagavan and he told, "Bhagavan, I have not brought anything." And Ramana turned towards him with a smile and he told, "Oh Sundaresha, you have brought the most important thing." And Sundaresha wondered, "What is it that I have brought? I have come with empty hands." And Ramana told, "You have brought yourself. That is the most important thing. If everything is there and you are not there, there is no use," says Bhagavan Ramana. And he, with his beautiful smile, his beautiful face, he blessed all the devotees with whatever was required, including he has his own example. When we are focused on the goal, when we are focused on a virtuous deed. The most virtuous of all deeds is to turn towards the self and abide in the self. So when we are focused in that, all that is necessary, all the necessary funds are given. So when Ramana got the call from the father Arunachala that he had to leave Madurai for good and reach Arunachala, he got up to go out, and his brother stopped him and asked, "Where are you going?" And he told, "I have a special class, electricity class at school. So I'm going for that." So the brother told, "You are going to your school. Beside your school is my college. Why don't you pay my college fee? Take 5 rupees from Chitti, from the aunt." And Ramana realized that when the goal was decided, when the focus is there, the necessary resources are provided. And he got the necessary amount, but Ramana only took what was necessary. He gave away the other 2 rupees extra, and he told only 3 rupees he took, and he told the 2 rupees are here enclosed, and the college fees has not been paid. And once he reached Arunachala, on the way, he had to borrow some money from Muttu Krishna Bhagavatar, and that extra change and the food that he had, without even a second thought, he threw it into the Ayyankulam Kalyani, that he did not want any wealth from outside. He was ever full as he is. So this is what Ravana has come to reveal to us. And how Ramana had a devotee called Cow Lakshmi. And when a Goshala was built for Lakshmi, and Lakshmi had to enter the Goshala, she was well decorated and she was being forced to enter the Goshala. She refused to enter the Goshala. She was the one who prayed to Bhagavan that she wants to stay here, and it is for her sake that a Goshala was being built and was built. And she was refusing to enter. And the devotees wondered, what is happening? Why is Lakshmi not entering the Goshala, which is made just for her? She ran to the hall and she told Bhagavan, "Bhagavan, you need to enter my home." Usually when a Griha Pravesha is done, the housewarming is done, a cow is actually brought inside the house. Because cow is an epitome of Lakshmi. Cow is an epitome of all goodness, all the devatas. Vishwanatha Swami in Ashtottaram, he has told that Matru Mukti Vidayakaya Namaha means not only Mother Alagammal was given liberation, Matru is another name for cow Lakshmi too. So usually a cow is brought inside the house in a housewarming ceremony, but Lakshmi wanted Ramana to enter because he is all these Devis, Mother Shakti, Mother Shri and Mother Vani. And once Ramana entered the Goshala, Lakshmi also followed him. Such was the devotion of Mother Lakshmi, cow Lakshmi, who knew that Ramana is the mother and he is there to take care of her every moment. And Ramana has come to reveal this truth to us, to reveal to us that you don't need any wealth from outside. The most precious wealth is already given. You already have it. You don't have to desire for anything from outside. And this is what Upadesha he gave to the little Venkatu, T.N. Venkatraman, who later became the president of Ramanashramam. As a little boy, when he went to take the share of the Nondi monkey and got a big slap on his cheeks, Ramana told, "Oh Venkatu, you got your share right. Never desire for others' share." So this is the Upadesha he gave all of us, that we do not have to look outside at all, because all the wealth is available to us as the self, and that self has manifested as Ramana to teach us this truth. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya.
Namo Ramana. We will now have the sharing of verses from Ramana Ashtottara, which is written by Vishwanatha Swami. This will be shared by Dr. Sarada.
Namo Ramana. Prostrations to Ramana, shining as a self in all beings. By the immense grace of the self manifest as Ramana, we in this part of the satsang are meditating on the Ramana Ashtottara, the namas in the Ramana Ashtottara. We have seen that the early part of these namas are all related to Bhagavan's life. And we were brought up to the nama Virupaksha Guha Vasaya Nama, from where Vishwanatha Swami breaks into a string of beautiful, pure adjectives of Bhagavan. Viraja Dachalakutaye Namaha Uddipta Nayanaya Namaha. We were meditating on the nama Uddipta Nayana, where Bhagavan took us to the fact that he is the eye of the eye. Chakshushash Chakshuhu. He is the eye of the eye. And he is Kannukku Kannu. And what do those eyes of those lighted eyes of Bhagavan do? We remembered Ganapati Muni saying that they actually cleanse us by bathing us. Abhishitya Katapshena Mamidam Vakyam Abravit. We saw that, and we also can now remember the other devotee who came to Virupaksha cave and very beautifully describes in his song what the eyes, these bright eyes of Bhagavan, they do. He says, Kanini Kachi Endru Odi Arendane Kanbidiyal Yendan Kannattile. Kanini Kachi. Look at this sight. Look at this revelation. That's what those eyes are telling us. Kanini Kachi Endru Odi. That's what they are telling. Those eyes are telling. Kanbidiyal. He is telling me through his eyes. And what are those eyes doing? They are actually Endru Odi Arindane en Karnattile. He is giving me a tight slap on my cheeks, says this great devotee who is Satyamangalam Venkatramayya, whose great treasure of Ramana Stuti Panchakam has come to us only during Bhagavan's Virupaksha years. And these lines where he says, Bhagavan actually slapped me. Why slapped me? Because it comes as a jolt. His look comes as a jolt. Many devotees in later years have said that his look pierced into me. It pierced into my inner being like some laser beam. Like in those days, laser beams were not well known. So she says, the devotee, she writes, like two glowing charcoal, she says, absolutely bright. It was as if their eyes were glowing and entering into me. That piercing glance was entering into me. So here, Satyamangalam Venkatramayya has composed 5 songs on Bhagavan. They are the Kali Patu, then the Kummi Patu, from which I have just quoted, where he says Bhagavan's glance literally slapped me on the face and said, why are you wasting time? Why are you talking like a teacher who gets upset when we are distracted in class? Like that he says, this glance gave me a tight slap. Odi arindane en kannattile. How did he give me the slap? Kanbidiyal. Through his glance, says Satyamangalam Venkatramayya. Satyamangalam Venkatramayya came to Virupaksha cave and he stayed there along with the other devotees and Bhagavan for about a week or so. And during that time, he composed these 5 beautiful hymns. As I said, the second one is the Ramana Kummi. And then we have the Ponnode Pattu and Ponnai Vatta Pattu. And finally, we have the Ramana Sadguru. where Satyamangalam Venkatramaya says that Bhagavan is the pure state of existence. Asipadat Uruvanavan. He is just Asi. He is not even Tattvamasi. There is no Tat, there is no Tvam, there is just Asi. There is only being. Asipadat Uruvanavan. So, Satyamangalam Venkatramaya came, he composed all this and then he disappeared forever. No, never did he come back to Virupaksha cave, never did he come back to Bhagavan's presence. And when B.V. Narasimha Swami started writing Bhagavan's biography, he, having been a lawyer, found proof or took attestation from everyone for their accounts. He would go and ask them to sign and give their accounts. He would read out to them. If they had spoken and he had jotted it, then he would read it out to them, read out the account to them, and take their signature to say that this is authentic, this is verified. Such is the first biography of Bhagavan that we have from B.V. Narasimha Swami, and the book is called Self-Realization. When he tried to trace the whereabouts of Satyamangalam Venkatramaya, he drew a blank because he could not find where Satyamangalam Venkatramaya was really hailing from. He went to the Satyamangalam and found that there was no one of such a name, there was no one of such a description. There was no one had ever been there in Satyamangalam of that kind. So, devotees, we believe that Arunachala himself came and wrote the praises of Bhagavan. Sri Ramana Tirtha, he has a beautiful way of saying this. He says, Arunachala brought Ramana to himself for a purpose. How do we know that he brought him to himself for a purpose? Bhagavan himself has written in Arunachala Ashtakam, he has written saying, not in Ashtakam, in Navamanimalai. In that verse he says, Shivakachinmayam Shadikattanmayam Jagatittun Shampurupu Chemmale Tanpadam Yanaka Tandanan. Shivakachinmayam. He gave me his own state so that the consciousness may flourish. It may spread everywhere, that it may shine bright, Shivaka. And Shadika Tanmayam, that existence may flourish. Shadip in Tamil means flourishing, absolutely doing very, very, very well. So that this, the glory of self-awareness, the glory of self-abidance may flourish. He gave me his own state, says Bhagavan. So when Bhagavan came to Arunachala and reported, Father, I have come, Pitrapadan Veshi, Pitradesha Tashnona Shailam, Praptaya Namaha. After that, what happened? Tapomayaya Namaha. He just didn't bother about anything. He was not worried that he has to do even that he has to do the Father's work, Arunachala's work. He was simply lost in the bliss of the self. He had no volition whatsoever. Another great devotee of Bhagavan, Jagadeesh Shastri, in his Ramana Sahasranama on Bhagavan, he writes, Sarvaramba Parityagine Nama, one who has renounced all beginnings. So where was Bhagavan going to begin to say anything? And so Ramanacharna Tirtha says, since Bhagavan was in absolute silence, Arunachala got worried, saying, how will this take forward my work? This is a poetic license, you see, this is a poetic way of saying. How will he fulfill the purpose for which I have brought him? Further, I want him to write about me, write poetry about me. See, Bhagavan has written these wonderful poems, 5 hymns on Arunachala. So Arunachala thought to himself, says Sri Ramanacharna Tirtha, if I go and sing on Ramana, he will return the favor. He is Maryada Purushottama in the way Sri Rama was hailed or is hailed. So Bhagavan is etiquette is absolutely perfect. So if I go and sing about him, he will have to sing about me. So thought Arunachala and came as Satyamangalam Venkatramayar, says Sri Ramanacharana Tirtha. But devotees do believe that it is Arunachaleshwara who came and sang of Bhagavan, or some divine being in any case, because he could not be found out. Subsequently, there was no trace of him, and it is as if he came just for the purpose of giving us these beautiful 5 hymns on Ramana, this Ramana Suti Panchakam. So, in that great work also, he describes the beauty of Bhagavan's glance, the glory of Bhagavan's glance, which Vishwanatha Swami, he describes it here. He has described it earlier in Ashtottara, and we'll have other namas, further namas also describing Bhagavan's glance. But here he says, Uddipta Nayanaya Namah, the shining eyes of Bhagavan, which are the light within and the light without, and the light without any division. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri
Namo Ramana. We will now have the chanting of Arunachala Aksharamanamalai. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala. ஓம்பியாய் சும்மா சுகமுண்டுறங்கிடு சொல்வேரன் கதி அருணாச்சலா. சௌரியம் காட்டினை ஷழக்கற்றதென்றே சலியாதிருந்தாய் அருணாச்சலா. யமலியிற்கேடா நானென் உறுதியால் நாடி நின்னுருவேன் அருணாச்சலா. ஞானம் இல்லாதுன் ஆசையாற்றளர்வர் ஞானம் தெரித்தருள் அருணாச்சலா. இமிரு பொனியும் மலர்ந்தில்லை என்றே நேர் நின்றனையன் அருணாச்சலா. தத்துவம் தெரியாதத்தனையுற்றாய் தத்துவம் இதுவென் அருணாச்சலா. தானே தானே தத்துவம் இதனை தானே காட்டுவாய் அருணாச்சலா. திரும்பி அகந்தனை தினமாக கண்காண் தெரியுமென்றனையன் அருணாச்சலா. தீரமில்லகத்தில் தேடி உந்தனையான் திரும்ப உற்றேன் அருள் அருணாச்சலா. துப்பறிவில்லாயிப்பிறப்பென் பயன் ஒப்பிடவாயேன் அருணாச்சலா. தூய்மன மொழியர் தோயுமுன்மெய்யகம் தோயவே அருளென் அருணாச்சலா. தெய்வமென்றுன்னை சாரவே என்னை சேர ஒழித்தாய் அருணாச்சலா. அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ 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 அருணாச்சலா. अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचला अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचला अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचला अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचला. Namo Ramana. We will now have the Ashtottara puja to Bhagavan. We will conclude today's satsang with the Ashtottara puja. The puja will be conducted by Sri Dileep Simha at his altar. The Ashtottaram will be chanted by Vaibhavji, Prarthana and Revathi Sankar. We conclude today's satsang with the Arati to Bhagavan. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Namo Ramana.
नमो रमण. भारद्वाज विश्वनाथ विरचितं श्रीरमणाष्टोत्तर शतनामावलिः अपार सच्चित् सुखवारिराशे यस्योर्मि मात्रं भुवनं समस्तं गुहाहितं तं रमणं गभीरं चिन्ताविहीनं हृदि चिन्तयामि. ॐ महासेन महोंशेन जाताय नमः. ॐ श्रीरमणाय नमः. ॐ गुरवे नमः. ॐ अखण्ड संविदाकाराय नमः. ॐ महौजसे नमः. ॐ कारणोद्भवाय नमः. ॐ जगद्धितावताराय नमः. ॐ श्रीभूमिनाथस्थलोस्थिताय नमः. ॐ पराशरकुलोत्तंसाय नमः. ॐ सुन्दरार्यतपःफलाय नमः. ॐ कमनीयसुचारित्राय नमः. ॐ सहायाम्बा सहायवते नमः. ॐ शोणाचलमहोलीनमानसाय नमः. ॐ स्वर्णहस्तकाय नमः. ॐ श्रीमद्वादशान्तमहास्थळे लब्धविद्योदयाय नमः. ॐ महाशक्तिनिपातेन प्रबुद्धाय नमः. ॐ परमार्थविदे नमः. ॐ तीव्राय नमः. ॐ पितृपदान्वेषिणे नमः. ॐ इन्दुमौळिना पितृमते नमः. ॐ पितुरादेशतः शोर्णशैलं प्राप्ताय नमः. ॐ तपोमयाय नमः. ॐ उदासीनाय नमः. ॐ महायोगिने नमः. ॐ महोत्साहाय नमः. ॐ कुशाग्रदिये नमः. ॐ शान्तसङ्कल्पसंरम्भाय नमः. ॐ सुसन्दृशे नमः. ॐ सवित्रे नमः. ॐ स्थिराय नमः. ॐ तपक्षपितसर्वाङ्गाय नमः. ॐ पुल्लाम्बुजविलोचनाय नमः. ॐ चन्द्रिकासितहासश्रीमण्डिताननमण्डलाय नमः. ॐ चूतवाट्यां समासीनाय नमः. ॐ चूर्णिताखिलविभ्रमाय नमः. ॐ वेदवेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञाय नमः. ॐ चिन्मुद्रिणे नमः. ॐ त्रिगुणातिगाय नमः. ॐ विरूपाक्षगुहावासाय नमः. ॐ विराजदचलाकृतये नमः. ॐ उद्दीप्तनयनाय नमः. ॐ पूर्णाय नमः. ॐ रचिताचलताण्डवाय नमः. ॐ गम्भीराय नमः. ॐ परमाचार्याय नमः. ॐ सुप्रसन्नाय नमः. ॐ अभयप्रदाय नमः. ॐ दक्षिणास्य निभाय नमः. ॐ धीराय नमः. ॐ दक्षिणाभिमुखाय नमः. ॐ स्वराजे नमः. ॐ महर्षये नमः. ॐ भगवते नमः. ॐ ईड्याय नमः.
ॐ भूमविद्याविशारदाय नमः. ॐ विमलाय नमः. ॐ दीर्घदर्शिने नमः. ॐ आप्ताय नमः. ॐ ऋजुमार्गप्रदर्शकाय नमः. ॐ समदृशे नमः. ॐ सत्यदृशे नमः. ॐ सत्याय नमः. ॐ प्रशान्ताय नमः. ॐ अमितविक्रमाय नमः. ॐ सुकुमाराय नमः. ॐ सदानन्दाय नमः. ॐ मृदुभाषिणे नमः. ॐ दयार्णवाय नमः. ॐ श्रीशोणाचलहृद्भूतस्कन्दाश्रमनिकेतनाय नमः. ॐ सद्दर्शनोपदेष्ट्रे नमः। ॐ सद्भक्तवृन्दपरिवृताय नमः। ॐ गणेशमुनिभृङ्गेन सेविताङ्घ्रिसरोरुहाय नमः। ॐ गीतोपदेशसारादिग्रन्थसञ्छिन्नसंशयाय नमः। ॐ वर्णाश्रममतातीताय नमः। ॐ रसज्ञाय नमः। ॐ सौम्याय नमः। ॐ आत्मवते नमः। ॐ सर्वावनिमतस्थानाम् आराध्याय नमः। ॐ सर्वसद्गुणिने नमः। ॐ आत्मारामाय नमः। ॐ महाभागाय नमः। ॐ मातृमुक्तिविदायकाय नमः। ॐ विनताय नमः। ॐ विनुताय नमः। ॐ विप्राय नमः। ॐ मुनीन्द्राय नमः। ॐ पावकोज्ज्वलाय नमः। ॐ दर्शनादघसंहारिणे नमः। ॐ मौनेन स्वात्मबोधकाय नमः। ॐ हृच्छान्तिकरसान्निध्याय नमः। ॐ स्मरणाद्बन्धमोचकाय नमः। ॐ अन्तस्तिमिरचण्डांशवे नमः। ॐ संसारार्णवतारकाय नमः। ॐ शोणाद्रीशस्तुतिद्रष्ट्रे नमः। ॐ हार्दविद्याप्रकाशकाय नमः। ॐ अविच्युतनिजप्रज्ञाय नमः। ॐ नैसर्गिकमहातपसे नमः। ॐ कमण्डलुधराय नमः। ॐ शुभ्रकौपीनवसनाय नमः। ॐ गुहाय नमः। ॐ दण्डपाणये नमः। ॐ कृपापूर्णाय नमः। ॐ भवरोगभिषग्वराय नमः। ॐ स्कन्दाय नमः। ॐ देवतमाय नमः। ॐ अमर्त्याय नमः। ॐ सेनान्ये नमः। ॐ पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः। ॐ श्रीरमणभगवते नमः। श्रीरमणाष्टोत्तरशतनामपूजां समर्पयामि। यस्थाणोररुणाचलस्य पदयोः स्मृत्या जनिं प्राप्य दिव्यानुग्रहसुप्रवाहविवशस्तादात्म्यभावं गतः निष्ठस्वगभीरनित्यतपसा लोकान् पुनास्येकराट् तस्मै श्रीरमणाय ते नम इदं लोकोत्तरज्योतिषे। नमो 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 रमण सदाशिवप्रभावरण नमो महर्षि। नमो महर्षि दर्शनसुखमङ्गलमुखसकलजीवहितसम्मुख ब्रह्मसंज्ञे सदा तुष्ट सदा हृष्ट सदा शिवानन्दपुष्ट परममहर्षि ब्रह्मनिष्ठ समदर्शी नमो 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 रमण सदाशिव प्रभावरण नमो महर्षि। नमो महर्षि ನಮ್ಮ ಮನವದೊಂದು ಕಾಡು ನೀನರಿತಿಹೆ ಅದರ ಜಾಡು ಹಿತವನರಿತು ನೀಡುತೆಮ್ಮ ಕೊರೆಯ ತಣಿಸಲೈ ಬೇಡಲೆಂದು ಬಂದ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿಯೇ ತಣಿವೆವಯ್ಯ ಮೋಡಿಗಾರನೇ. ಹಿತವ ನುಡಿದು ಪೊರೆ ನಮ್ಮನು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಸಂಗಿಯೇ. ನಮೋ 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 ರಮಣ ಸದಾಶಿವ ಪ್ರಭಾವರಣ. ನಮೋ ಮಹರ್ಷಿ ನಮೋ ಮಹರ್ಷಿ. बोलो भगवान श्री रमण महर्षि की
जय.